Good afternoon, students. Welcome to history class. Today we shall be looking at the topic that says monitoring water quality. Monitoring water quality. This class is for SS1. The objectives of today's class, monitoring water quality, is as follows. You should be able to define meaning of water quality. You should be able to state the parameters of water quality and list the optimum water parameter ranges. Meaning of water quality. Water quality refers to the chemical, physical, and biological characteristics of water. It is a measure of the condition of water. When we are talking about water quality, we are looking at three major factors. We are looking at the chemical factor of it, the physical, and the biological. These three factors determines the water quality. Chemical factor, the physical factor, and the biological factor. When we talk of the chemical factor, we are looking at the acidic or alkaline nature of the water. We talk about the physical factor, we are looking at how transparent, how dirty, the color of the water. But in this case, let's look at the transparency of the water under the physical factor of water quality. Under the biological factor, we look at the microorganisms. Are there microorganisms? What kind of microorganisms are in the water? Bacteria is a microorganism. Fungi is a microorganism. Virus is a microorganism. These things determine your water quality. Under the chemical aspect of it, the acidity and alkalinity of the water can be determined by the use of the litmus. That's what you are seeing there. You can use your litmus paper to know the acidity or alkalinity of your water. Under the physical aspect of it, how transparent is your water? Is the water dirty? Is it clean? Is it too pure? All these are factors that determine water quality. If you look at that diagram, you can see the fish very clearly. That means the transparency is quite high. Now that's bacteria. That's the biological aspect of it. That's just a sample of bacteria. So these things determine your water quality. Now let's look at water quality parameters. Water quality parameters. Now what is water quality parameter? Water quality parameters are facts or circumstances that restrict the use of pond water in the rearing of fish and other aquatic organisms. Those facts, the circumstances that may affect the use of your pond in rearing the fish. That's what we call water quality parameters. What are the facts that you look at? What are the circumstances you look at when rearing your fish? Is very important. This determines the success or the failure of your fish farm. What are those water quality parameters? we have the temperature. Temperature is one parameter that is very, very important. The temperature of the water. We have the turbidity of the water, the dissolved oxygen. Sometimes you see it written as DO. DO means dissolved oxygen. We have water pH. We also have hard water is a parameter. Hard water. We have hydrogen sulfide. We have nitrite, ammonia, carbon dioxide, and conductivity. There are other parameters. But looking at these parameters, we can know how to rear our fish. We have temperature, turbidity, dissolved oxygen, and so on and so forth, like you can see on the screen. Let's take, for now, temperature. Temperature is a numerical measure of hot and cold. It is measured with a thermometer. Temperature is very important. It's very important in rearing your fish. The temperature of your pond water determines the growth of your fish. It determines the feeding level of your fish. If the temperature is too low, it affects the feeding habits of the fish. It affects even the feeding response. It affects the feeding response of the fish. So temperature is very important. Is a factor in rearing your fish. Temperature. So it's a factor that you must consider. Optimum range of temperature should be between 26 to 36 degrees Celsius. The temperature of your water should be between 26 to 32 degrees Celsius. If your water temperature is more than 32 degrees Celsius, that means the water becomes hot and it affects the feeding rate or feeding response of your fish. Some of them will stop feeding, and the next thing is emaciation. The next thing can be death. So the water should not be too hot, and the water should not be too cold. If the water is too cold, they stop feeding because the environment is too cold. What do? Don't feed them. Once you see that your environment, the pond water, the environment is too cold, don't overfeed. Just give them little. If the environment is too hot, don't give them too much feed. So that's the diagram of a thermometer. You should be able to know how to draw a thermometer and label it. It's one of the questions that you will usually see in the WAEC or NECO. They can ask you to draw a thermometer and label it. So that's the diagram. Learn how to draw it and then and label it. How to measure pond water temperature? How do you measure your pond water temperature? It's very simple. Just take your thermometer and go to the pond and put it into the pond and take the reading within maybe 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes, you've taken the record. You can see the diagram of a fishery scientist who is taking the reading of the water temperature. So that's how to measure pond water temperature. Just go to your pond with your thermometer and take your reading. The next is turbidity. What is the meaning of turbidity? Turbidity is the cloudiness or haziness of a fluid caused by individual particles that are generally invisible to the naked eyes, similar to smoke in air. Turbidity has to do with how clean or how dirty your pond water is. It is very, very important. It's very, very important in discerning the level of success of your fish farm. If your pond water is dirty, your fish will suffer. If the pond water is filled with particles, it reduces the amount of dissolved oxygen that the fish needs. Some of them will stop feeding because the water is dirty. If you are very observant, your fish will come up to the surface of the fish pond. What are they coming up for? They are looking for oxygen. Why? Because the pond is dirty. The turbidity is a very important factor you must consider if you want to have a successful fish farm. So it is the cloudiness or haziness of your water caused by individual particles that are generally invisible to the naked eyes, similar to smoke in air. Turbidity is measured with a Secchi disc. They can ask you that question in your exam. What do we use to measure turbidity? You tell them that turbidity is measured with a Secchi disc. And the optimum range is between 40 to 60 centimeter. The optimum range, optimum means the best range. The best range that can give you the best result. Optimum range for turbidity is between 40 to 60 cm. Anything less than 40 to 60 cm means that the pond water has become dirty or vice versa. 40 to 60 cm is the optimum range. If you do your readings and the optimum range is coming to 20 or let's say 10 or 15, that means that water is very dirty. If your reading is above 60, let's say 70, 80 or 90, that means that water is very clean. It also affects the fish. If the water is too dirty, it affects the fish. If it is too clean, it affects the fish. It has to be average, moderate. Not too clean, not too dirty. You may ask me why. Why will my water affect the fish if it's too clean? Yes, because those zooplanktons, phytoplanktons, these things are microscopic organisms that gives the fish its natural food. By the time your pond water becomes too clean, that means you have little of this natural food and it affects the fish. If it is too dirty, that means your pond is lacking oxygen and it can affect it. Because if the water is too dirty, it reduces the amount of dissolved oxygen. Now that's a typical diagram of a Secchi disc, which you use to measure turbidity. You can see it there. Look at the diagram properly labeled. You can see the line, the screw eye, the Secchi disc, and the weight. Please note how to draw it. Most times, you will see it in the external exams. They may ask you to draw a well-labeled Secchi disc. So that's it. Measurement of pond water transparency with the use of Secchi disc. Remember that Secchi disc has to do with transparency. How transparent is your water? Now, what do? The first thing is to get the Secchi disc ready, calibrate the line, maybe in centimeter. Get your Secchi disc ready, calibrate the line, maybe in centimeter. That's it. That is the Secchi disc. If you look very closely, you see the line. And if you look more closely, you see that the lines are calibrated. The calibration can be in centimeter. Now, the next thing is to slowly lower the Secchi disc into the pond water. Slowly lower the Secchi disc into the pond water. Don't do it too fast, just do it slowly. The reason you will know after now. Slowly lower the disc into the pond water. The third step. Stop when it just disappears. Immediately you notice that the disc has disappeared. That's why we say do it slowly. If you do it too fast, you won't know when the disc disappears in the pond water. So as you are doing it very slowly, you say stop. When you just realize that the disc has disappeared, immediately you realize that it has disappeared, stop and then take your reading. This reading is called the termination point. Please take note of that. That reading is called the termination point. You can see, just look at that diagram. As you do it slowly, you very careful and note the termination point. Call that termination point point A. That termination point, call it point A and note your reading. The next thing is to lower the disc now a little and raise it until it appears again. After you've taken note of the termination point, you write your reading somewhere. Now, bring it down and then slowly raise the disc again. Slowly raise it, just be raising it a little, be raising it a little. We are saying that as you are raising it a little, take note of the point where you begin to see that disc again. As you are raising it up, you start seeing it lightly again. Take note of that point and call it point B. That is the eruption point. We've mentioned 2 points here. The termination point when the disc has disappeared and the eruption point when the disc has just appeared. Call that point point B. Okay, that's the diagram now. That's the diagram for the eruption point. Call it point B. The next thing is to mark your point C. Mark your point C. The point C is the difference between point A and point B. Point C, you can still say, is the midway between point A and point B. That will give you your transparency level. That will tell you how transparent your water is. How do you calculate transparency? Get your point A, get the reading of your point B, and then the average between point A and point B will give you point C, and that will give you the reading of your transparency level. The next is dissolved oxygen. We are through with turbidity. Dissolved oxygen is another parameter. What is dissolved oxygen? Dissolved oxygen is a relative measure of the amount of oxygen that is dissolved or carried in a given medium. It can be measured with a dissolved oxygen probe, such as the oxygen sensor. It's the amount of oxygen that is dissolved. That's what we call dissolved oxygen. Oxygen that is dissolved in water is what we call dissolved oxygen. And the optimum range actually is between 1 to 3 milligrams per liter. This varies with the kind of fish you are rearing. Some fish may take up to 2 to 3 milligrams per liter. But here in our own region, we usually grow catfish. Catfish will do very well with optimum range of 1 to 3 milligrams per liter of dissolved oxygen. Remember that catfishes are very strong and they have auxiliary gills. They can even breathe outside the water, at least for some time. With the help of their auxiliary gill, they can breathe outside of the water. So the optimum range for dissolved oxygen is about 1 to 3 milligrams per liter, at least for catfish, African catfish. What do you use to measure dissolved oxygen? Of course, you use your DO meter. That's a typical sample of a DO meter. Quite expensive. We usually find it difficult to find within our area here. we use the DO meter to measure our dissolved oxygen. The next very important parameter is water pH. Water pH is very important. It is a measure of the acidity or alkalinity or basicity of the pond water. Water with a pH less than 7 are said to be acidic. Water with pH greater than 7 are basic or alkaline. Water with a pH at 7, we say it is neutral. Pure water, however, has a pH very close to 7. We say that it is measured with a pH meter. That's what we use to measure a pH. The optimum range for water pH is 6.5 to 7.5. This is where the range that can give you the best fish production. 6.5 to 7.5. How to measure pond water pH using litmus paper. How to measure pond water pH using litmus paper. For acidic water, blue litmus paper, will turn red, while red litmus paper will turn blue for alkaline water. If your water is acidic, your blue litmus paper will turn red. If it is alkaline, if your water is alkaline, the red litmus paper will turn blue. That's just a sample of it. So if you want to measure water acidity, just get a sample of the water. Go to your fish pond, use your beaker or a cup, get a sample of it, and then use your red litmus paper and just drop in. And take note of the change in color. If your red litmus paper is turning to blue, that means that water is alkaline. If the blue litmus paper is turning to red, then the water is acidic. Please take note of this. If your water is acidic, or if your pond water is at the pH of 4, what happens? You know that pH of 4 means it is acidic. pH 4 means your pond water is acidic. What happens? It leads to death. It affects the growth of your fish. Your fish will die. If the pH is 4, there's nothing you can do. Your fish will die. Even if you feed it, the fish will die. If your pH is between 5 to 6, you will have slow growth. Irrespective of the amount of feed you are giving it, you have slow growth. If the pH is between 5 to 6, you have slow growth. If your pH is between 7 to 8, you have good growth. If your pH is between 9 to 10, you will probably have slow growth. And if your pH is at 11, it will lead to death of your fish. Please take down this assignment. Calculate for pond water transparency if the termination point is 23 cm and the eruption point is 11 cm. We say calculate the pond water transparency if the termination point is 23 cm and your eruption point is 11 cm. The next one is, what is the implication? From your result, what is the implication? And then, what is your recommendation as a fishery scientist? What do you recommend? One, if you find out that this is my pond water transparency, what do you recommend as a fishery scientist? Thank you, students. Please stay safe. Remember that you are very important to us. I remain your teacher, Sir Ike Ejimado. Thank you.